Support.
The maestro, please!
Quite the lineup today. We already had a number of albums to talk about, but also Record Store Day's numbers came in, so we now got a bunch. This'll be for the week of
June 26th. 2021.
On this day in music back in 1938, A Tisket, A Tasket by Ella Fitzgerald with the Chick Webb Orchestra hit number 1 before the Billboard Modern Day charts were a thing, so it was number 1 for sheet music and jukebox records, and it would also be the breakout hit for one of the most significant jazz vocalists in history. Our first Record Store Day release, the score to The Goonies by Dave Grusin in celebration of its 35th anniversary, and this is the first time you can ever get it in any sort of picture disc format. This does not have the entirety of the score, just a large selection of them, of which was picked by Dave Grusin himself.
Let's stay together, loving you well.
Our second Record Store Day release, on pink vinyl, a collection of archived Al Green vocal tracks, complete with new orchestral arrangements of some very iconic Al Green songs.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Record Store Day release number 3, another selection of funky jazz tunes from Jazz Dispensary, handpicked by Doyle Davis of Grimey's new and pre-loved music in Nashville. And do not worry, this is not just exclusively on vinyl. You can find all of these tracks individually, digitally as well. Our final Record Store Day release, 1959's Quiet Kenny by Kenny Dorham, joined by Tommy Flanagan, Paul Chambers, and Art Taylor. Pressed from the original mono recordings as well, for those audiophiles out there.
Singing, I love rock and roll. No master of gods to play.
Studio album number 7, and Shirley Manson has commented that the 7 is very significant, as she references the 7 virtues, the 7 sorrows, and the 7 deadly sins, so 7's a big number here, and it's also a heavy critique of capitalism.
No matter what the distance is, I will be with you. No matter what.
The debut studio album of Mammoth WVH, and that WVH stands for Wolfgang Van Halen, the band's leader. And yes, he is the son of that Van Halen.
It's bigger than hip hop,
Straightening, straightening, yeah. Straightening, yeah.
The final album in Migos' Culture Trilogy. So if you have Culture and Culture 2, you're obviously going to want to get your hands on this so you have the complete set.
Do it sound like I'm kidding? I've been making like 2,000 a minute. So high up through the clouds, I was swimming. I'm probably
Aptly named Hall of Fame, a lot of big features on here. The Kid Laroi, Lil Durk, Lil Wayne, Rodwave, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, Young Thug, Nicki Minaj, and most notably Pop Smoke. Marshmello's 4th studio album, and the first one after his Joytime trilogy of albums. And some big features on here, most notably Juicy J and Megan Thee Stallion.
And now I need some help from the maestro, please!
I think I'm gonna stay right here tonight, cause that could be dangerous. Cause that could be dangerous.
Let's see if this is still here next week.
Voice of the hero. The voice of the hero. Voice of the hero.
Critics have been generally favorable about this album, but they have said at 18 tracks it is a bit long and could do with some trimming.
I got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about.
People have commented that with some of these songs, especially on Good For You, there are very big nostalgia vibes in the form of some Paramore influences.
Straightening, yeah. Straightening, yeah.
Only at number 2, whereas Culture and Culture 2 both hit number 1. Let's see if the Migos can't get a little bit more power behind this to make sure that every album in the Culture trilogy did hit number 1.
do it sound like I'm kidding? I've been making like 2,000 a minute. So high up through the clouds. clouds, I was swimming. I'm probably
Third time's the charm for his studio album. First album at number 1, not long after his first single at number 1, which we did a pop analysis on, by the way. So yes, the Record Store Day releases, as always, might be hard to find, but at least you have the other half of the albums we talked about today to listen through.
And now I need some help on the maestro, please.